Right, Mika. What's your Skirious problem, mate?
Mate, my scariest problem is that ever since our last episode, we've caused quite some stir in Russia, and I've got approached by multiple Russian journalists, and like I would say like about 50% of the journalists called me Russophobic, and another 50% called me a friend of Russia. So now I don't know what I am myself anymore.
Yeah, mate. It's been actually the lashback from the last episode has been like crazy. The amount of messages we've had, positive and negative, about what we said in the podcast is actually like crazy. And I think it just shows what a sensitive subject it is. But because we feel like we needed a bit of an expert on how it works at FIS and how those decisions are taken, we invited Alex Fiva, who's athlete representative at the FIS Council. Welcome to the podcast, Alex.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody.
Yeah. I can just tell our listeners who you are, so you can interrupt me if I'm wrong, because I'm probably going to be wrong. So you're Skicross athlete. You've been competing for, I would say, quite a few years now. I think you started in what was it, 2008 or something?
My first World Cup was in 2008, yeah.
Yeah. And then you've been on the podium of the overall World Cup quite a few times. Last time being 2 years ago. You have 14 World Cup victories. One, apparently, according to FIS. One,
they know it better than me.
One world champ victory and one Olympic silver. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
What skis do you ski on?
I was 10 years, I was on Stöckli, and now I'm on Völkel, German brand.
Uh-huh.
Not too much seen in Alpine, but in Skicross it gets bigger and bigger.
Okay.
How do you actually feel? This is doesn't really have anything to do with the topic we're going to talk about. But how would you see Skicross now versus in 2008 when you started doing it? Has it grown, or how's the journey of Skicross been?
I think it's grown a lot. When I started, I mean, you haven't seen it on TV. You had no video wall at the race. You were it was really small. And now it's almost every race in Switzerland is on TV. We're Olympic. I think it's growed a lot and didn't grow like crazy all of a sudden, which they thought at the beginning it will do. But it constantly growed, I would say, yeah. And it's I always call it's like another discipline of Alpine, because a lot of Alpine are coming later to us, and we don't have really juniors, because that's in Alpine, but they come and change to us. So that's the difference.
How does it feel that you guys are considered a freestyle discipline by FIS? That's right?
Yeah, we're not freestyle.
Yeah.
We're not cool. We're not judged. We just want to be fast. So no, I think it's wrong, but we kind of stuck in there because of the Olympics as well. So yeah, I'm trying to get us out there, but it's not that easy.
Yeah.
But then will the freestyle events, the Skicross events, also be held in Livigno, where the rest of the freestyle is being held?
Exactly. And you're not in Livigno.
No, we're in
Lazzo, right? Val di Fiemme.
Lazzo, yeah. Val di Fiemme, yeah.
But
which is actually a shame,
nice.
because one of the Austrian journalists working at the ORF, Paul Pasla, he was just here before, and he actually just told me that he got sent to Livigno for the Olympics, and I think he's the best journalist in probably all of Austria right now.
Yeah.
So he comes to us.
Yeah, so also if you're gonna go out to Bivio some evening, then you're probably gonna meet him there.
Okay.
I think our village is going to be like the second tier village, or last tier village rather. Unfortunately,
almost every village will be like that. I had a meeting once with Mika, and I asked them. They showed me all the transportation, everything, and I asked them, "What about the transportation from the opening ceremony in, I guess it's in Milano, going up to Livigno?" They're like, "There will be no." And I'm like, "Yeah, and how we get home? It's too far. You're not going there." So yeah, now I think they do 4 opening ceremonies all over, spread out. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah, the main one is being held in San Siro, which is fucking cool, though.
That's cool, yeah, definitely.
But actual down to the real topic, while we've got you on on the call,
I like this topic better.
The other one's quite exciting because it creates some controversy, and controversy is fun.
It's actually insane. Like the amount of hate we've received when I feel like we were trying to have a bit of a like kind of nuance. There's been lots of athletes in cross country skiing that have been super against the return of the Russians. There's some athletes that have said, some of the stars have said that they wouldn't race if the Russians were racing. And we have been trying to take an approach of like talking about the problem that the war is, and the war crimes and so on, and saying that it's not necessarily the fault of each individual Russian. And we were kind of positive about having the Russians back with us, but then we've still been branded as Russophobic,
which is
crazy. But Alex, can you give us a bit like the rundown of how kind of the discussions went around this topic? I'm sure you can't talk about everything in detail, but like kind of how was the experience, and how does the FIS Council work? Who is like representative? Who votes? And give us a bit of rundown.
Well, I can start with the FIS Council, how it works. I mean, there are 22 right now voting members, the president and 21 council members, which got voted through the Congress. The normal council members got voted through the Congress. The Congress is the NSAs, the full member NSAs from FIS. So each NSA has like 1 or 2 or 3 votes on the Congress, and you can put you up as a council member and you get voted or not to the council. On the athlete side, we had an athletes commission back in 2015 when we had got 1 member in at the council. Now we have 4 members, 2 able-bodied and 2 para athletes, which represent the athletes in the council. We represent like all the athletes, every discipline, like FIS has 13 or now 14 maybe disciplines. So yeah, that's how the council puts together.
But and each NSA has 1 representative then, or not?
No. For sure not more than 1, but they have. Not each NSA has a representative, because it's only 18 spots or 17, which
How is it decided which NSA gets a representative and which NSA does not?
They can put a representative up for voting, and if it gets votes, then they're in or not.
Yeah.
Like every full member can put a proposal for a council member every 2 years. So in spring there will be a new council vote on the Congress in spring in Belgrade, and then they have to get re-voted or re-elected or new elected.
And then FIS has some like there's the president, maybe there's the secretary general. Is there any other people that are part of the like FIS staff? Can you call it that?
Yeah, there are some lawyers as well. The assistant from FIS president is in there. External lawyer is in. Normal is the finance head of finance is in as well, if he has to make a report, but they get invited to the council meeting or not. And then pretty new is Urs Lehmann, the new CEO from FIS, is as well at the council, but they all have no voting. They're all no voting members in the council. Yeah.
So it's just only
sitting in there and talking smart.
Yeah, but only the council members and the president has a vote.
Okay.
But so that's how the council works. And then let's go back, Jimmy, a few days when we did the last episode. It was probably like 2 days, I guess, prior to the decision that was being taken. We said we'd be up for having neutral athletes compete with us. We said we were not so, or I said I was not so happy with Veronika Stepanova being in Ramsau and talking shit about the West. After that, I've met quite a few other Russians on the roller ski track around in Ramsau. They seemed quite optimistic, some of them at least. I was quite optimistic. I was thinking, or I was saying 50-50, but I was leaning rather towards, okay, I guess Russians will be, or neutral Russians will be racing. Decision gets taken. After that, we receive an immense backlash on our episode. Some Russian chatbots call us Russophobic. I get like lots of journalists sending me messages. And then I I sent this one journalist a message where I just answered on his question of me being Russophobic. I was like, Russophobic? Come on. I was like, we're the only skiers actually seeking to have a conversation with Russians and to have a conversation around this topic. But we also have free speech. And as public persons, we do also kind of have the duty to speak our minds. Ever since, I'm labeled as a friend of Russia now.
Yeah.
So that turned quite quickly. I don't know how that turned, but the main thing standing in the room now is the decision, because Jimmy and I, or especially Jimmy, was talking about how the decision will be taken, that we weren't sure if there was going to be a vote, if the vote from Zurich was binding or if it actually wasn't binding. Why were surveys being sent out to NSAs? How did this decision, or how was this decision taken, Alex? Can you take us there? Because before actually you're going to answer, I got one question of a journalist, which was by far my favorite question. So this one journalist said, why are all the Scandinavian skiers against the Russian comeback? Is it just because they are afraid that they will not win as many races after Russian return anymore, and that the Russians will just win everything? And then I was like, mate, come on. Have you heard about this whole war in the Ukraine thing? That's like kind of an issue. But apparently majority of Russians believe that the only reasons Russians are denied racing us because we are afraid that they are too good.
Probably in your sport, but not in every sport from FIS.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, what I can tell you is like the whole IOC, they made the rules that with the IN, neutral Russians, neutral athlete, they made the rules, and based on these rules, the international federations has their choice to go with this rule for the qualification events or not. So if they cannot qualify, they cannot come to the Olympics in, I think, most of the sport. Maybe there are some sports which has like a certain reserved spot, but I don't know that. I know in FIS or in the Olympic FIS disciplines, they are not. What was crazy last week, or well, it's not 3 weeks ago, the IPC, what they decided. They decided
Who's the IPC?
not. That's the Olympic Para Committee, the IOC for para. So the Paralympics, they decided to let the Russians and Belarusians come full member back with flag, with everything. And since FIS has Paralympics in as well, it was like, how can we handle that? And then, well, what I can say, it was a secret vote on the council, and the vote was against the neutral athlete. So that's what happened 2 days ago. Yeah.
I heard that the vote was insanely tight, and it was 10 votes for and 12 votes against. So basically, one person would have swayed the vote. If one person had voted different, then it would have gone the president's way, and from the president's public.
Yeah. I don't know if that are rumors, because it was a big discussion if we should keep it a secret or not. And what I know is I don't know anything. You know more than me. So, but it was a secret vote. It was an online council meeting 2 days ago on Tuesday, no, 3 days ago. So it was secret, and I don't know how big was one point or the other. But yeah, that's what I can say.
Was it like a shit ton of discussions, and like, was it because that was like the big decision to be taken, basically?
Yeah.
And also, I think the meeting started around noon, and then by the evening we still hadn't heard anything until 10 in the evening. So how long did this take?
7 actually.
Or 7? Yeah, okay, but this is like 7 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the meeting starts, and then the meeting goes on, and there's the vote, and we have a lot of other important stuff to make some votes, make some discussions about really important sports stuff, which I think as an athlete is it's really important to have to put the finger on that as well, on the new rules, on new commercial rules for us athletes. And then, I mean, since everything is confidential, we have to wait to talk to someone until the press release goes out from FIS, from the official press release, and that takes normally. We were asking when does the press release comes out, because especially on the Scandinavians, they were talking about that journalists are waiting outside of the door until they got out. That was the big discussion, and then they promised us it takes some hours and then it will go out. So I think around 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening it went out.
But how is this so tight? How does no detail of this meeting actually come to light? Like when Virgil van Dijk gets a phone call from some random football club in Spain, Fabrizio Romano knows about it, and it's like being posted all over the internet. But yet when there's like major decisions being taken in like all of winter sports, it's like we hear nothing. There's like no leaks. There's like, we don't know what you guys were discussing. We don't know if the discussions were emotional, if somebody stood up and started throwing tables.
Well,
like, give us the gossip. We want to hear the gossip. Come on.
As it was online, yeah, I wouldn't throw a table at home because it's your own stuff. No, I mean, it wasn't that. I think everybody had their own mind. We tried to represent the athletes and on our vote, and I mean, it's already clear who is more against and who is more pro, because it's so a political topic. We always try to keep the sport out of the politic, but it's already in, so that's why it was some big discussions. But at the end, it was the vote and how it came out.
Did you feel that there's like some people changed their opinions still during this meeting, or did you have the feeling that like going into the meeting basically everybody knew what they were going to vote anyways?
My feeling was it was pretty clear that everybody know what they want to vote for,
because at the same time each of the representative in the council kind of has to vote. They don't vote their personal opinion, they have to vote what their federation or what they're
voted for FIS, the federation puts them up, but at the council they're standing for FIS and not for each nation. So you should really vote in the best interest for FIS.
So come on, each representative is also going to vote for the interest of their own federation. I have a hard time believing that they would suddenly, when they elected on which the council
topic, for sure.
Yeah.
But so actually, as a council member, you should be neutral. And
probably when there was like discussions about TV and media rights, Austria definitely voted for FIS getting all the TV and media rights, right?
But see, this is actually a question I was going to ask. Do you think there's like some federations that voted against the president just for the sake of, because there's been like so much tension in the past months or maybe even years over media rights and so on? Do you think some representative may have voted not necessarily for this subject, but just to vote against the president?
Well, first of all, I don't know what the president voted because it was secret.
Yeah, but it was also very public what he was for. Yeah, so,
but at the other side, I mean, I think they're really. I wasn't always on the same side with the president as well, but they're all really professionals, and I think it depends on the topic. It's not like, oh, I want to go against the president or I want to go against some nations, because I think they're really professional what they're doing and for the best interest for sport. So I think that's each topic. You don't go like, he wants that, so I'll go against it. It's each topic you think what is the best, and when it's a vote, you're gonna vote for that or for this. I think they're all professional enough.
And how about you personally, as being the athletes representative in this committee? How much have you talked to athletes reps of other sports? Do you have like discussions with like other federations as well? Like, for example, with the ISU, where they're gonna allow neutral Russian athletes?
We know which federation already had made their decision, and there are a lot of against the same decision like we did. IBU, for example. They're against that. What we know, we didn't talk to them. I talked to our athlete reps, tried to understand what was their feeling, what was their opinion. I mean, with surveys, it's always hard, especially in times like now, which is so political and so like a strong background on each one or the other side. So I'm really afraid, or I was like not afraid. It was like nervous about how. I mean, if you just throw out a survey with an open link, it always depends who motivates more on which side. to either one or the other side. The survey flips. So it was like I tried to do it more with talking. What was how was the survey like 3-4 months ago we did, or almost a half a year ago, or how is the opinion now? Did it change? Is it the same? That's what I try to do. But as an athlete rep, it's always hard because we don't. Sometimes we know there will be this vote or this vote, but sometimes in the council they're like talking about, okay, should we vote? Yes, okay, let's vote. And then we're like, yeah, we couldn't talk to our athletes rep because of time, because of confidential, but we always try to balance it between some good decisions.
Yeah.
As an athletes rep, are you also, especially in this situation now, I think usually yes, but in this situation now, are you also an athletes rep of the Russian athletes actually?
Sure, they're athletes as well. That's well. I mean, we don't have an athlete rep on the athletes commission from Russia, but we have one from Ukraine. But we could have one from Russia as well. But I talked to the Russian athletes on my discipline as well and asked their opinion as well.
Not quite though, because I think technically we couldn't have a Russian athlete on the athlete commission because the vote was done in 2023 when they were already banned.
Uh-huh. Was it? I mean, we had one time we had a snowboard alpine girl from Russia.
Yeah, but
it can be. I don't remember that.
I think it was. I got elected in 2023, and then there was definitely no Russians already racing, okay. So it was could not have been a Russian athlete because you have to be in the World Champs.
I mean, if they're not on the athletes commission, we'll still represent them on the athlete from the athlete side. That's clear.
Actually, another question: since we've been contacted so much the last couple of days, have you been contacted by either side to?
That was a question in the council as well. Why does almost everybody has our private email address? It was crazy. We got so many emails from all over the place, and not only on one side, on the other side as well.
Like it's good they only have your email address. Like they got my fucking phone number somewhere.
Yeah, what the hell?
I wouldn't be surprised if they have my phone number as well. That goes out, that kind of. I don't know how, but.
Who was contacting you, like individuals or journalists or?
Yeah, even governments and consulates and really official sites.
That's crazy.
This is because winter sports is quite a big thing in Russia. Did you ever feel unsafe? Because obviously you're one of the people taking decisions and people could see that there was a big chance that the decision was going to be anti-Russian. Did you ever feel like, wait, I actually don't like being in the situation now, or was there no such situation?
I mean, they try to convince you on each side, but not that they're aggressive or anything. I hope it stays like this.
Yeah.
But also I have to add in here that pretty much all of those Russian journalists that contacted me, they were super respectful and actually super friendly and actually insanely nice. Yeah, I mean, you have to be honest also, because we have some Western journalists, especially from some rumor newspapers, that don't always act as nice as possible. Let's say it like this.
Yeah. True. Mika, cool. Do you have anything else to add on this topic, or Alex as well, if you have anything to add that you think would be relevant?
I hope now sport is coming in focus again, and we will have a good winter and a good competitive Olympic Games in each discipline for FIS. I mean, it's a lot going on, especially on the IOC side, and we have to fight for our disciplines, and that will be some really important and big topics in the next some years. Yeah, show your sport, perform the best, and show how nice winter sport will be. And that's what I can say.
Compete World Cup for 18 years. That's a fucking good record.
That's actually quite a good record. That's wild.
Last thing, I just remembered, somebody sent us a message and said FIS is not independent. I'm not sure what they meant about that, but like, what do you say to that?
Can't really say anything. I mean, I think if we are independent, FIS is independent, and we try our best to, in each circumstances, if it's an NSA, if it's an athlete, it's a athlete from somewhere else. I mean, I always think the sport has to be in the middle, and everything else is not that important.
Yeah.
Another question I have, actually, I think it's a legit question. Seeing that the Russians got banned straight after the invasion of Ukraine, which I fully support. So I want to state that here. Is there inside FIS, has there been a discussion about banning other countries that maybe were not really staying on the humanitarian side of conflicts lately?
Right now, no. There were some discussions, but as well, if we split Russian, Belarusian or something, there was discussions, but at the end, it stayed like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
well, this was not your usual.
Yeah, or
You
like,
do you
think will the Russians ever come back? As long as basically as long as the war is happening.
I hope the war stops, and I hope the
Yeah.
Russians are coming back. They're important for our sport, especially in our sport. We have a lot of Russians. I hope they will have a chance to compete in their beloved sport and have a almost normal life again.
And do you
think that's also the underline of the whole topic, right? I mean, war just has to stop, and basically the second the war stops, Russians will be welcomed back inside FIS.
I mean, it's nobody can choose where they were born, and so everybody should be able to compete and to make their love sport.
Yeah, for sure. It was some of those messages or posts from the Russians were like a bit heartbreaking when you see Korostolevs, who writes that puts a picture of him when he was a kid and says that he will not go to Olympics. It's a bit heartbreaking. But the one thing actually that we forgot to mention is that for cross country skiing, it would have been just one male, one female. There would have been 2 athletes going to Olympics. So at the end of the day, like, that they're there or not, honestly, I don't know why it was such a big fuss about it. At the end of the day, it would have been just 2 athletes. It wouldn't have mattered.
Would it not? I think it would have mattered for purposes of showing, okay, it's not against Russian individuals, it's against the Russian system. I think it would have mattered.
Yeah. It would have been entirely for the image, for the symbol of it, rather than actually from having more competition. So I think the messages of they're scared doesn't really come into
depends
play
on
here.
the result as well.
Yeah. Nice. Well, thanks for joining in this podcast.
Thank you, guys.
And not your average Skirious Problems podcast where we just talk about Jimmy being a bellend, but I think it was super informative. I actually was really interested in everything you had to say myself. If the listeners, if you think it was a good episode, if you were interested in the topic, leave us a comment, say what you thought was interesting. If there's anything else you want to know, send us a message, pop it in the comments, subscribe to our podcast, and hear you next time. Ciao.
Bye-bye.